gets to drive the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hello everybody, it's Let's Talk Racing. We are here at the Sprint National Sprint Car Hall of Fame again. And we have, geez, I cannot talk today. Second time I messed up. And we have Danette here, and she's Danette King Emiston, and she is with the Steve King Foundation. And she's going to tell us about that, tell her about herself and what the foundation's about. We are so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a privilege to be here. Knoxville is near and dear to our hearts, and we come here each year to help raise funds to help racing families that are in need.
That is awesome. Now, like, what do you mean, like, in need? Like, as in, if they're injured or any medical, like, give us an idea of what all you do and cover it with the foundation.
Sure. We started this foundation in 2006. Unfortunately, my brother's last race was here at Knoxville on a Wednesday night qualifying, and went in turn 3 and right on into heaven. So we lost him, but we didn't lose the racing family. My family has raced. My father started racing 45 years ago. So we've been involved with the racing community for a long time. And the one thing we learned was just how very important the racing family is. They're very competitive on the track.
Yes.
They really come together as a community when there's a need to do so.
Yeah, when the uniform's off, they're there for each other.
That's right.
Like a big, gigantic
That's
family.
Right. So what happens is when someone's injured, there's all sorts of needs. There may be, you may be racing out of state and need to get family to you, or you may need transportation home after being treated in the hospital. And so we try to help with all variety of needs as they arise.
All the medical needs, things like that, and family, because I know that's very important. Because some of the family members can't come here. We were interviewing Danny Schott's sister, and she's like, well, I can't come to all races. And that's the thing, like, what if her brother happened to get injured, she wanted to come to him, or he tried to get to her? Foundations like you really help them out a lot, which is so great. Now, tell us a little bit about your racing background and how you got involved. Like, was your family always surrounded by racing and things like that, so you kind of grew into it, or what?
Oh yeah, I used to say that the sprint car was the first child in the family. I was the second, and my brother was the third. I went to my first race track. My first races when I was 3 weeks old in Amarillo, Texas. So I've grown up in the dirt tracks in the Midwest. This, however, was my brother's favorite place to come race. He loved coming to Knoxville. He was having a good qualifying night a few years ago when the accident happened. But my family's always been involved. That's really our extended family, are those folks at the track, the drivers, the families.
People here and all the dirt track and sprint car racing.
Right.
Is there any other type of racing you watched, or was it your family mostly dedicated to this? Because there's other types of racing as well.
Well, growing up, we watched NASCAR on Sundays, but really we spent our time at the tracks on Saturday nights.
On Saturday nights, yeah, I have a track at my place nearby that it's an asphalt track, not a dirt track, but Saturday nights, every night they have a little race going.
Yep.
Which is great. Now, you said that your dad also races. Does anybody else besides your dad in the family race? Like, does it go down the line, or did it
No, it would have
start
been.
with your dad?
It started with Dad. I think he did some drag racing in high school, on the public highways, not professionally. But there was a dirt track in Dodge City, Kansas, and that was the closest one. And him and some buddies put together a car, and it started from there. So always grown up doing that. Haven't done any other kind of racing. Always the dirt track. Moved up through the modifieds, super modifieds up to the wing cars, and our love's right here in the dirt.
Now, give the people an idea. How do you get fundraising for your foundation?
Goodness, we do all sorts of things. Here in Knoxville this week, we've been doing raffle tickets for two-seater rides. We've been working with the track and giving away rides in two-seater, and it's really been fun because the last few nights, people that have come. Well, one gentleman's come 28 straight years, another one's come 31 straight years to Knoxville, and they called it the experience of a lifetime to win with a raffle ticket, get in the car, do 3 laps around the track.
It has to
and
be
have a great
real
time.
thrilling because I just watch these guys in the pits go around the track, and I'm thinking that talk about adrenaline. It's like when they run by, you not only feel the wind blow, like that ground is shaking. It's like thunder, machine thunder with these cars. It's crazy. And my uncle tried to win an auction. They had the two-seater like you did. He tried to win it, ended up not. So maybe I'll have to tell him about that raffle ticket.
You have to get a raffle ticket.
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. He might get lucky, as I know he really wants to do that. Now, our friend Terry O'Connell that we've had in the show earlier, she is donating her suit that she wears to auction off, and I know that has to help out a lot.
Sure. We have lots of drivers that do things like that, and we really appreciate all of the
Helmets,
help.
things, signs.
Helmets, wings, all sorts of things we get donated to us to help out. Raise money because we'll use that money for racers when they need it. But we also have an annual golf tournament in October in Dallas in conjunction with the ASCS Winter Nationals. And then we do a variety of fundraisers at different tracks throughout the year. They'll name one special race, the Steve King Foundation Night. And we'll come and do special things at the racetrack just to raise awareness about the foundation and what we do to help racing families, and also to raise funds so the money's available when it's needed.
Well, tell some of the people at Let's Talk Racing, like all our viewers here, tell them about some events that you have coming up to fundraise, because I know they will totally help support this because they love all things racing, and to help out the racing community and the drivers as their fans, I know they will totally be up for it.
Well, the easiest thing they can do is just go to stevekingfoundation.org, donate, or buy some merchandise right online. So that's the easiest thing they can do. We also have some other events coming up. The biggest one I mentioned was the golf tournament in October. We're kind of winding down our season. We do a lot of events in May and June and July.
When the season starts up
When the
again?
season starts up, and then we'll get going again. We do lots of events in the Midwest. Have some events planned next year in the Pennsylvania area, and also had a gentleman ask me about bringing the foundation out to California, and we would certainly love to do that.
Wow. Now, when do you think is like one of the biggest items that you were given, then you were thinking, oh my gosh, wow, this is so amazing, it's going to help out so much, that kind of give you like a real good feeling, and you know it would help out a lot? What do you say was one that really stood out for you?
We have just been given an entire set, and I don't know exactly how many's in it, but it's a full set from the first magazine, first Speed Sport, to the most current.
Oh,
all of them. So
All
we're going to
of
be
them?
using those as a charity item, and that is a really cool thing.
that is going to be amazing. Oh my goodness, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, but we
all
have-
through the years?
Yes. We have drivers that have given us suits. Some NASCAR folks have given us items as well to help out, because a lot of NASCAR starts off in the sprint car world. Helmets. We've got T-shirts over at our booth right now that people have signed and that we're giving, or people are purchasing. So lots of different things, any way we can to raise funds.
Well, me, Roger, and Terry, we might give you a couple of the Let's Talk Racing shirts, and
You
maybe
bet.
you can sell them. And she's also got the shirts Terry has designed here.
Awesome.
We can give her some. We can give some to you, and maybe you can do something with it.
That'd be
also,
great.
another thing I wanted to tell you: when we're done getting this signed, whatever money we make off of eBay, we're going to give to your foundation.
Wonderful. Thank you so
and we're
much.
hoping that we can get a lot of money off of it, because we're going to try to get some drivers and other people we know to sign it.
And actually, after we get done with the show tonight, we're going to be down in the pits.
Yeah, so we're
have
gonna
everybody get arm frenzied.
We're going
Awesome.
to get this thing covered in autographs so we can get a lot of money raised. So keep your eye out on eBay for when this thing goes on, and maybe you can win it and help out a great foundation. And we thank you for being on the show. We're really glad we can help out.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you helping us spread the word.
No problem at all. We're so grateful.
Thank you.
Now, who do we have here? I haven't met you yet. Let's see. Here we go. We have Andy Clark on the show. Nice to meet you, Andy.
Nice to meet you.
Do you mind telling everybody who you are and what you're doing here at the National Hall of Fame?
I'm Andy Clark. I'm a past president of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum, and a longtime volunteer here at the museum.
That is awesome. Now, tell everybody about the museum, what's here. Give them an idea what kind of goes on here, if there's any events and stuff like that, because it's right off the track, which is really cool. So if you're here, you love sprint car, you can then come here, see the Hall of Fame in the museum. So why don't you fill them in on that?
We just had an auction. They just finished off an auction.
I know they just finished out an auction. Some things were signed by sprint car drivers and things like that. All kinds of cool stuff comes down here. So if you're ever in Knoxville, you have to check this place out. It's so cool.
Well, we're very proud. The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is actually about 22 years old, and the building has been here for 20 years. As you said, it's built on the second turn of the Knoxville Raceway, which was a stroke of genius by the founders because we have 20 suites upstairs on the third and fourth floor.
Yeah, you see the fans
right.
up here.
So there's the luxury suites out there, plus we hold about 180 people on the second floor on race nights to watch the races. I think the second floor, we're actually the closest seats to the racetrack of anybody that hears us at the racetrack, and you have a great view, especially of people, especially the starts, and it's just an awesome place. It's more like a club atmosphere. People wander around. We've got TVs in here for replays.
One of the prior shows, we actually had Roger turn around the camera and show the view of the track from here. It's amazing. I'm doing the show and I'm looking out at this awesome view. I thought it was a good view from the pits. I came up here and I was just blown away by this. It's such a it's a cool place up here too. It's really nice being surrounded by the history of the Hall of Fame, and then you get to watch what's happening now.
Well, I'm old enough to be a big racing history buff, and especially sprint cars have been my passion since I was about 10 years old. And on the first floor, we have, I think right now, there's always 25 to 30 cars, historical cars, and displays about drivers. We have, right now, our big event for this Nationals, of course, is a collection of 7 Jeff Gordon cars. As you know, Jeff Gordon started out in sprint car racing, and he actually, when he was 15 years old, they gave him special permission to race here a couple of times, and the car he raced there is in our museum in the garage. Plus, the car owner who brought him here and also took him to Australia when he was 15 years old.
Really?
Sits right over there in those seats every race we have.
Wow.
And so he and Jeff had a very emotional homecoming the other day when Jeff came by, and
I'm gonna have to take a picture of that. My brother's a huge Jeff Gordon fan. I know whenever he watches the show, he's gonna be like squirming that I was here, seeing all this.
It was a great thing to have Jeff here. We have one of the number one car from the Hendrick Museum. They loaned us for this period, and it's just been, it's an older restoration, so they had just re-restored the restoration because it had been sitting in their museum for so long.
New,
and then we have one of his Baby Ruth cars, and we have his USAC midget championship car.
Wow.
We have his wing car that he won the championship at Lawrenceburg Speedway. We have his dirt champ car, and we have a USAC sprint car, a non-wing sprint car that he raced. And it's a very, very nice exhibit. We have a lot of his trophies here, and he came and he just had a ball the other night. So we're happy. But that's our special exhibit. The rest of the museum is full of very important historical cars from a wide variety of drivers. Right now in the front window we have cars from the 3 drivers who won the most Knoxville Nationals. We have Steve Kinzer, of course, who's won 12, and we have the car he won his first one. It's in our museum all the time. It's here on permanent loan, pretty much. We have Donnie Schatz, who won. We have the car he won. I think it was last year's car. I'm not sure about that, but it's one of the more recent ones, and it's one of the Tony Stewart motorsports after he went to Tony Stewart's, and it won the Nationals. And then beside that, we have the car that Doug Wolfgang, who also won 5 Nationals. We have the 20 car of Bottrossel's. They're all in the museum, so they're right there. You've got 22 victories in the Knoxville Nationals.
Lots of history
represented.
There. Now, if you could name like the top 3 really historical cars or things in here that make you, like, when you got it here, you were like, wow, we have this in our museum. Like, it makes you real proud about it.
There's a lot of things like that. But I think one of the most interesting things, we have 2 garages. And they show, nowadays most race teams work out of big air-conditioned 2-story brick shops, and it's a modern sport just like any other kind of racing. Well, back in the old days, they worked out of garages. And we have the John Gerber garage, and this features a car that won hundreds of races all over the country, and it was located in Davenport, Iowa. And John Gerber built the car by hand.
Wow.
It's on the trailer that he built by hand. And we have the like 1930 I think it's an Essex car.
Wow.
That pulled it. And there, every now people travel in motorhomes or campers or things like that. Well, in that car, what you'd notice first is that there's no back seat, but there's a little mattress in there, and they travel coast to coast in this car. And there's a very, it's all handmade. He made the motor by hand. He cast the block.
Insane.
He did everything. He was such a craftsman, and he had, not only did he himself win a lot of races, but he also had the top drivers of that time drive for him too. So that garage, just every time I see it, there are a number of other cars that are very historical, but one that really stands out to me is the Kenny Greitz car. He won the 1969 Nationals in that car.
Wow.
He was an up-and-coming driver. 2 weeks later, he went to his hometown of Lincoln, Nebraska, and they were having an IMCA race. And at that time, IMCA would not allow roll cages, and his car had a bolt-on roll cage. You could run it with the cage or unbolt the cage and take the cage off. And what happened was the officials at that race said, you cannot race that with the roll cage on it. He took the roll cage on it, tragically crashed in that car, and was killed because they had made him take, everyone, or a lot of people thought that if they had left the cage on, he would have been fine.
And he would have been okay.
Well, that accident and the ensuing argument over this, and his wife raised the serious questions of their liability and convinced the whole IMCA organization to allow roll cages on the race cars. And so, in my opinion, that car saved literally dozens of drivers' lives since then. Plus, it's one of the most beautiful cars you will ever see. And Kenny Greitz was just an excellent representative of the sport. And it was a really tragic story, but we're very fortunate that we have that car in here, because when you talk about safety in race cars, that car changed
so much about how the safety is viewed, and also things they could change to make it safer. That had to help out a bunch, because I know that's the #1 cause. Like, you can look through the years of racing how it's changed so well to help keep the driver safe, which is a real important thing, especially with stuff like this. Like, I was at one of the turns and I'm just watching these crashes happen. Like, if you just, like, they just turned and they hit the cushion wrong, there they are spinning out and going ready to flip. And it's amazing how so much of the technology and things like that, incidents that have happened, yes, it's tragic, but then it's also can be turned around to a positive to save lives, or even make foundations like the King Foundation where they can help out drivers and stuff like that, which is real incredible.
I was glad when I walked up to see Danette here. She's a longtime friend of mine and the Hall of Fame.
I'm glad Roger ran into her and got her on this show.
She's just awesome, and that foundation's just awesome. Unfortunately, I was here when her brother had his accident, and the way they've carried on is just heroic, and that's such a nice family. And Danette is the one who still shoulders the major load, and it's really awesome.
Before you go, we will have to have you sign this because we're auctioning it off on eBay. Once we get everybody to sign it, we're also going to go down the pits, get this thing covered in autographs by drivers, and whatever money we make, we're going to give to her foundation as charity.
That's just awesome.
And we
Thanks.
cannot wait to see what
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for informing us about the museum and being on the show. Bob, you want to come on here? Sure. We're going to have Bob Baker. He's the executive director. And Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself and what all is up here on the Hall of Fame, what all you can see in driver's room, what year sprint car to years. Give us some information on it.
Well, there's 330 people who have been inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. And we started doing inductions back in, I think it was, 1991, Andy? Maybe 1992? 92? This was our 23rd year.
Wow.
And so in 2 years we'll have our 25th year of inductions. We always do them the weekend after the Indianapolis 500. No?
We said it wrong. The first induction was 1990. The building started in 92.
Right, the building was opened in 1992.
So you
That's
can stay on here and help them out if you want.
There you go. 20 years we've been into building, and we're real excited. This is the first year we've sold out our suites for the Knoxville Nationals, and also the second floor, which is like a huge party tonight. We'll have a lot of people up here having a great time to watch the races, to watch the Knoxville Nationals tonight.
It's a great view from up here.
We are so spoiled to have such a nice building.
Oh, yeah.
A great place to showcase sprint car racing. And for the inductees to come in with their families and sprint car fans and the people that support sprint car racing to come in and watch the movies and look at the cars that are on display and all the different exhibits that we have. We have our Salute to Champion Jeff Gordon going on right now, and we have 6 of Jeff's cars inside the museum.
He was telling us about that.
Did he tell you about
cars he got in the museum? And we cannot thank you enough for letting us do the show up here. It tells us about so much. It's so cool to be surrounded by the history of the Hall of Fame here, looking at all the drivers who have been here, people who've raced on this track, and made sprint car history. It's just mind-blowing.
It really is. My brother and I started to come up as youngsters back in probably the mid-'70s, and to see the progress of all the grandstands that have gone up, the suites, the paved parking, the paved areas behind the grandstands, the new buildings, of course, the Hall of Fame, the grandstands in the back straightaway, and all the safety features built into the racetrack. And race fans across the country know that Knoxville's famous for their fire and safety crew they have here. They do an excellent
awesome
job. There's a lot of people that come up into the Hall of Fame that are the family members, moms, wives, daughters, and family of the drivers, and they say they'd rather have their sons and daughters, people racing here at Knoxville than anywhere else because of the safety crew here.
Yes.
They feel like they're in the best hands anywhere.
The safety crew is awesome. I was down there on turn 3. As soon as the car and something happened, as soon as they could get out there, they were running out and they were helping and assisting in the greatest way. They are so on their toes and they have about so much. And I know sometimes it cannot be an easy job. Being a medic, my dad has been studying nursing. It's not an easy thing to do, the stuff like that, especially with the reaction time and the car still driving by. They just go out there and they do it because they are so concerned about the safety and the health of the people during the crash, which is so great to see.
The driver's welfare and well-being is number one on the safety crew's mind, and we've seen them do heroic deeds year after year here, go into burning cars and unstrap drivers, take off their seat belts and everything and pull them out of the fires while the car is still erupting and burning pretty hard.
That's
and you see those guys go in those suits, and they wear the fire suits all night, and it's some nights over 110 degrees here.
It gets hot at night. So far it's been cool, which I know they're probably grateful for because that's probably keeping them warm with this little bit of chilly weather at night. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into racing and how you got into sprint cars. What got you hooked? Was it family or was it a friend? Did you grow up around it?
My dad sort of took me to the races, as most people that are in the sport have a family member that takes them to the races.
Yep.
I was a very young boy, and my dad started taking me to the midget races in Kansas City at Olympic Stadium. And my dad said, remember you saw A.J. Foyt win his first midget race in 1957, the USAC midget race? And I said, okay, I'll remember it, but I don't remember any of it except for what he told me not to forget it. So
that's something, though. That's one thing you remember.
I remember that, and my brother and I have just been going to the car races, the sprint car races, midget races ever since. So when the opportunity came up here at the Hall of Fame about 5 years ago to get on board and help sprint car racing and help the Hall of Fame and the museum, I was really excited because I'm a big fan and enthusiast of sprint car racing and Knoxville Raceway and Knoxville and the Hall of Fame. I think when they were interviewing people, they had a whole bunch of people they talked to, and they narrowed it down to 6 people. But of the 6 people they narrowed it to, I was the only person that was a member. You know, I was a card-carrying member of the
so
National
that
Sprint Car
really-
Hall of Fame Museum, so I never pulled my card out, but, you know.
If you did, it probably would have helped you even more, right?
I don't know if it would have helped anymore. I'm glad to be here, and I think we've got a great staff of people, a great curator, Thomas May, who's been here since the beginning of the museum. Lori DeMoss, our administrative assistant, David Herman, just finished our auction, the special events he does across the country with the raffle car, golf tournaments, raising money to keep the museum open. We're open 7 days a week, year-round, and so a lot of people don't know the only 4 days we're closed are Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, and New Year's.
Wow, so you're pretty much open all year.
We're open all the time, so if anybody's crossing the country, going across I-80 or up and down on I-35, they can get off and get to Knoxville pretty easy. We're about 30 minutes south of Interstate 80.
You really need to check out this museum. It is so cool. It's right by the track, so if you also want to see the track, you can stop by and see the track. Not only that, you can see the museum and the Hall of Fame. Like you heard earlier with Andy there, he was talking about all the cars, the history here, and everything they have down there. It sounds incredible, and I'm really hoping I'll be able to see it before I go, because it just sounds amazing what all you guys have down there. So you have to please try and visit, especially if you're heading near Knoxville, or if you're here now and happen to be watching the show. And make sure you tune in tonight on this feed live tonight.
Yep.
So,
it's not live. It's tape
not?
delayed, so it's going to be, I think, in 2
immediately.
weeks on August 25th
Wow.
is when the Knoxville Nationals will be tape delayed that afternoon.
Well, make sure that you guys watch it, because the racing here is a really good racing. It's intense, and you will not want to miss a second of it, so make sure that you tune into it. And we cannot thank you enough for having us here at the Hall of Fame.
It's our pleasure. Thank you for
Our
having
pleasure,
us.
and you've already signed it, and we want to thank you for signing this and helping us out to help her with the foundation.
Sure, I tell you what, Danette Epstein works very hard for the Stephen King Foundation. Of course, Stephen was her brother, and so it's a benefit that's for injured drivers. It's close and dear to the King's family's heart, and we're glad to always help them any way we can here at the Hall of Fame. And thank you for doing your show from our museum. And we are the only sprint car museum in the world dedicated to sprint car racing, so we'd like to invite your listeners to come by.
Yeah, and speaking of the foundation, do you do any fundraisers that you can tell people about? Like, go ahead and tell them, like, for people that are especially near this area, they can go check it out and help you guys out.
If you're in the Knoxville area today, we have our raffle car in front of the Hall of Fame. We sell raffle tickets across the country for $20 a piece, or 6 tickets for $100 to win a brand new Eagle chassis with a Danette 410 engine. And we'll do the drawing December 22nd this year, so we do a drawing every other year thanks to the manufacturers in sprint car racing who build a brand new car every 2 years and donate it to our museum. So some lucky fan will win a race-ready 410 Danette 410 cubic inch sprint car engine and car to race.
You guys got to check out the auction. Michael Rogers was able to snag this. It was a Brad Doty, right?
Doty.
I always pronounce his last name wrong, and I feel so bad that I do that. And he was able to get the little car. It's actually signed by him. All the stuff that they had at the auction, we were hearing it up here during the show earlier. That was some really cool stuff. They actually even had one where you could win to be in a car while I was going around the track.
Two-seater ride.
Yeah, the two-seater ride. I see that from the pits every night, and that looks so awesome and fun. And I know you really wanted that. He wasn't able to get it.
I ran out of
but
pocket change.
If Roger was going to get that, you guys, I was so going to film him, and that would have been on our show totally at the end for like credits or something. We would have had you in that car showing you having a blast. And we want to thank you again for hanging on the show.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Now, of course, we know we have all these people that are on the Hall of Fame. What is the process for being
nominated and being inducted into the Hall of Fame? It's a two-step process. It's an award-winning process that's been given awards by the International Sports Heritage Association. Because we are a national organization, we have voters from coast to coast. There are 72 voters who vote on the people who go into the Hall of Fame. So there's 18 voters, National Induction Committee members on the West Coast, 18 in the Midwest, 18 in the Mideast, and then 18 on the East Coast. And those voters are all given a blank sheet of paper every year in October to fill in who they would like to nominate to be on the final ballot. We get those first ballots back. We count up and tabulate. That's our job here. We don't vote here. We just make sure the process is in place and working properly. We tabulate those votes off the nomination ballot, and we send out a final ballot with the highest vote getters back to the 72 voters to vote again. Usually by the end of the year, we know who the next class is for the following year,
right.
And we announce it every year at the Chili Bowl down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, about mid-January, who our new inductees are.
Cool. Now, how many people get inducted each year?
It's about 12 people. Sometimes we have ties in different categories, whether it be the driver category, the owner-mechanic category, or people who are promoters, video people, photographers, officials, different people involved in the sport that are not necessarily a driver or an owner or a mechanic.
Oh, we could be a Hall of Fame if we did this a lot.
You could be nominated and you could be inducted into the Hall of Fame one day.
You watchers start voting. That'd be awesome. How would you like to see us in the Hall of Fame? That'd be pretty cool.
That's what everybody asks. How do you get to be a voter? And it's not an easy thing. We look for historians, people who have written books and have a knowledge of the history of the sport. And so the people that are on our national nominating committee have been on there for years and are very, very intense, and they do the due diligence when they get all the inductees and all the names for the ballots.
Yeah.
And they really look up the history to make sure who they're voting for, to see if it's a worthy person, someone that's made a lifetime contribution to the sport of sprint car racing.
That's
Cool.
really awesome. That's a good thing. That's really great.
What's the next thing after the Knoxville Nationals that's coming up that you guys are going to be helping out a lot on?
Well, we have our final points race. It's called our season championship race, which there's a great championship battle in the 410 wing sprint car division between Terry McCarl and Davey Heskin. They're just a few points apart, so the championship is up in the air. Terry's won the championship several years, and Davey's never won a track championship here. So you've got the young guy and the older guy. That's a great battle they've had all year long for the points championship, which I might mention, besides Knoxville paying out the most money for a weekly track for sprint car racing every Saturday, the drivers share in $330,000 plus of point fund money at the end of the year. So the points championship is more than just a trophy in Knoxville. It's a lion's share of that $330,000 that's shared by all three divisions.
Pretty big.
But that's August 25th is our final point race. A couple of weeks after that, September 7th and 8th, we have the AMA, American Motorcycle Association,
that should be good.
flat track motorcycle championship races here. And
wish
that's
I
always
could
a big
see
night
that.
to see the AMA races here. And then our big final last blowout of the year is our Knoxville Late Model Nationals. It's the last weekend of September, September 27th, 28th, and 29th. All the late models that come race all 3 nights, and they pay $10,000 on Thursday to win, $10,000 on Friday to win, and $40,000 to win on Saturday night. It's a great event. It's right at the end of the year when it's starting to get a little cool out, so people are wearing their sweatshirts and their jackets. Kind of like this weekend. We've got some cool weather here in Knoxville. So
It got down to 59 degrees.
Gosh, I was bundled up in my jacket.
it's going to be much like the weather we have this weekend.
That should be good, though, 'cause that's great weather, especially during the day. It's nice, and then it gets cool at night, which is good for the drivers and, like you said, the people in the fire suits. And how they're not so burning up, because in the hot nights, I know that cannot be easy or real fun to work in, especially with that.
It's a hot job and very little reward, but I tell you what, every one of the drivers that races in Knoxville appreciates the fire and safety crew's hard work and also the families of everybody involved.
Yes, especially.
There's a driver off to the side, definitely raising her hand.
Oh, yeah, Terry, because they help your safety. Because they help keep them safe, and they know they owe a lot, and they cannot thank them enough, probably, especially the families where people could have been seriously injured, or maybe could even, like you said, burned or severely, or really sent to the hospital, probably saved by these people.
And unfortunately, that does happen in our sport. It doesn't happen as much as it used to happen. The safety equipment on the cars is much better, and some of the people who are inducted into our Hall of Fame are manufacturers, car builders, people who've innovated safety, like Nomex and the fire suits, Louis Center. So there's a place in the Hall of Fame for just about everybody that makes a lifetime career achievement towards sprint car racing.
That is awesome. Well, thank you again.
All right, thanks a lot for having us on the show.
You got one more question? Well, how many questions do you have? You need to mark them down. This is your 4th one? I think.
You'll get over it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
I'm messing with you.
You guys, y'all sit here and y'all take care of this place so well. Isn't there a special place for you guys to be on here as well?
No, we have a little thing in our minutes and our everything that we don't nominate anybody that works here. We're
No, I mean, once you've basically retired.
maybe in 100 years, maybe there'll be a little something, a little plaque somewhere or something.
Well,
but
maybe we can give them a little nudge for that, Roger.
we have a great staff here. Like I mentioned, Tom Schmay, David Herman, Lori DeMoss, everybody that works downstairs. We've got a cast of hundreds of volunteers to help us coast to coast with the raffle car, with our golf tournaments, with our special events to raise money to keep this 4-story building open year-round for race fans. So it's really a group effort from everybody that has a passion for sprint car racing.
That's awesome.
All right, now you can.
All right. Well, here we go again. Thank you for being on here.
Thanks a lot.
We're
We'll see
going to
you
try
later.
to pull a fan from here to talk about their driver and how they've gotten to the sport of racing. So if I can get somebody, I'm trying to interview a fan. Would anybody like to come on? Just ask you a few questions about your favorite driver. Here we go. Awesome. So the guy just walks right up.
Yep.
Now, tell us your name, where you're from, and how you got here to the Knoxville Nationals.
My name is Eric Stout, and we're from St. Henry, Ohio. It's about 5 to 8 miles north of Eldora. And my dad's been in the sport, following the sport since he's been my age.
And he got you into it?
Yep, Sammy fan. So.
Oh, you're a Sammy fan.
Yep.
So how many of the races, have you seen all of the races so far this week?
We've been here since Thursday. So.
Awesome. I drove up here all the way from Virginia, and we've been seeing all the races. Now, have you ever tried racing? Like, have you ever done any of the go-kart stuff, or ever tried to do what these drivers do out here?
I've never done it, no.
Who all came with you? Was it just you driving up here, or are you here with family?
Me, my dad, and my 2 brothers.
Oh, so that's fun. Like a guy's week to come and see racing
Yep.
and get away, right?
Yep.
Now, were you driving up here? Did you fly here, take a train? What?
We drove.
Oh, you drove up here?
Yep, we left it.
So, you always said your favorite driver. Does he have a rival that you kind of don't like that much, or are you not going to pick that bone with anybody?
Kinzer, he's a big rival. Kinzer.
That's a big rival, huh? Do you watch any other types of races besides sprint car, or is this like your main thing that you like?
This is the main thing, but we do watch NASCAR a little bit. And
who do you like from NASCAR?
Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart?
Yeah.
Man, it's okay. I'll be nice.
Yeah.
I'll give him mouth about that. I have a friend that's a Tony Stewart fan. I pick on him all the time. Do you watch any other sports besides racing?
We're pretty big into baseball.
Pretty big into baseball. The baseball season coming up.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you. And oh wait, have you seen any other tracks? And is there a favorite track that you've been to?
Well, like I said, we're just down the road from Eldora, so that's a big one. And then this year we've been to Lima Land and Bloomington, Indiana.
Cool.
So, but definitely between here and Eldora.
That's about your favorite one?
Yep.
Well, thanks for being on the show. We're going to try to get some other fans on
thank
here.
you.
Enjoy the races.
Yep, me too.
Anybody else want to come on up?
Here's the other part of the family.
All right. Any other of the family people? Y'all root for the same driver? Oh, no family rivalries. That's no fun. Anybody want to be on the show? We're going to ask you about your favorite driver. You can brag about your favorite driver. If you have a rivalry and you want to talk some smack, you can go ahead and do that. We're not going to judge here. Anybody want to come on up? No? Don't be shy. Everybody's shy. I'm not going to get anybody. I'm all lonely up here, y'all. Here we go. Yay. Awesome. So tell us your name, where you're from, and how you got here to Knoxville to see the Nationals.
My name is Steve Devine, and I'm from Potosi, Missouri. Been doing this 30 years or so. Good friend, Dean Adams Sr. passed away a couple years ago. Drove sprint cars forever.
Wow.
Run all over South, championships all over Gulfport and Biloxi. Dean Jr., his son, which will be here, we got the DuPont section. We used to be sponsored by DuPont. Had rainbow car just like Jeff. Spent a lot of shows with Jeff, and know Jeff pretty well.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Kenny Schrader drove our car a lot back in the 80s. His rookie NASCAR picture is him sitting on our right rear sprint car tire.
Oh, wow.
So we've been around it quite a lot. I know 90% of the drivers. My first time to Knoxville, though.
Awesome. It's my first time to Knoxville as well. Now,
Been everywhere but Knoxville.
everywhere but Knoxville. Did you come up here with any family?
Friends, Dean Jr. that used to, well, he still got a sprint car, but we're all paired together. I've been friends for
How'd you get here?
years. We drove up from
You drove up as well?
about 400 miles, so we were here all 4 days, and just a great place, great show. And, excited to see who's going to do what tonight.
Yeah, who's your favorite driver? And does he have a rival that you don't like as much? We always have fun with that.
Well, Steve Kinser's got to be the best.
Yeah, Steve Kinser fan, man.
Then you got to have Sammy, and you got to have the competition, or they wouldn't be the greatest.
All right. What got you into racing, family?
Well, we're excited about Sammy and Steve. They're older, and they're just getting better.
Yeah.
I keep telling Dean, I said, he's getting up there, and I said, they're getting better. Maybe you'd get better.
Yeah, I know, right?
So, but it's exciting to be here, and it's a great deal. I mean, I was listening to you talking to Steve King's family. I mean, how can you get any better than doing stuff like that?
It's real awesome to interview the people and hear from their side of you, especially the family, because you always hear from the drivers. You never get to hear the family side, which is always cool.
I got a few scars from sprint cars, booked that about 7 places, and
goodness. Oh.
But I mean, it's good to have somebody that's there for you.
Oh yeah, family's a big supporter, no matter what you do.
Well, and getting people involved—that's the thing. That's what you're doing. I mean, if everybody just do a little, it'd be great, So,
builds up to a lot.
Yeah, I run a food pantry, and if you just get people to do a little bit,
it
goes a long way.
Little bit goes a long way. Now, do you mostly watch sprint cars, or do you watch any other types of racing, any other types of sports?
Watch NASCAR, but
NASCAR will get in trouble now with
but
anyway, so who do you pull for in NASCAR, and do you have a rival that you don't like in NASCAR?
Well, I really like Carl Edwards, and I like Jeff because I know him. I used to know Rusty Wallace real well.
Oh, Rusty, he was my man when I watched him until he retired, man. I was so sad when he went.
You've got a lot of young guys that needs to get educated. But it's the same in this. Some of your young guns, I mean, but they're upcoming stars. I love watching Cody Dare and Kyle Larson, and these boys are coming.
Right.
And, they're going to be the future. So
other sports that you watch?
I watch football. I like a little bit of all of it. I like the basketball championships. And when it gets into championships, I like to watch them.
You like to watch the big games at the end in the sports?
Been watching the Olympics,
Olympics are always nice to watch. No matter what race you're into, it's always cool to watch the Olympics.
The competition's where it's at,
yes.
That's what it's all about,
Have you been...
What's your best thing that you liked about the Hall of Fame so far?
Well, I've heard about this and read about it, and this is my first time to get to experience it. It's just unbelievable. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Matter of fact, you might shoot me, but Dean's wanting to redo his gambler car that Kenny drove and donated, and so it's a pretty neat deal. I mean, where can you go and see anything like this?
Oh yeah,
you
can
can't.
You choose a favorite track that you've been to? Or is there too many to choose?
Well, Eldora's, it's pretty wild. It's high banked and they go awful fast, And, but we got a little track down there in Missouri, Peevely. It built about like Eldora. It's a little smaller, but man, they just flat footed all the way around it. And they just had the Ironman down there, but they got rained out. But gonna have a 2-day show, or not 2-day show, but a 2-feature show in October. And I've never been there. It's fast. It's exciting.
Oh yeah. How are you liking the races here?
Oh, it's been unbelievable. I mean, I listen to them all the time up here, but this is unbelievable this week the way they've been running. It's kind of going to be a who's who. We've been talking all day. Who's going to do it? I mean, last night looked like Donnie's got it.
Oh, I know. I was so close. I was at the edge of my seat with that.
I said tonight it may not hook up.
No, you'll have to totally watch this whenever this goes on speed, because this is some real intense race, and it gets down to the wire and the nit and grit with this.
It should be live tonight.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
he was saying that it's going to be on speed later. Bob, he's saying the speed's going to.
Yeah, they're taping tonight. I think it's going to be played like a 20.
He gave the information, so make sure you watch the show, and if you didn't catch it, rewind it and see when the race is going on speed. That way you can get your popcorn and everything ready for the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being on our
Thank you.
show.
Thank you.
I ask you about dingus.
Oh, he has to ask you about that,
Who?
man.
Somebody said to ask you about the dingus bar over there.
Haven't been there.
Haven't been there.
Haven't been there.
No.
There you go. I understand
Sure.
everybody's loving it over there.
No, I haven't been over there. So, all right, thanks.
Can I get another fan to be on the show? Ask a couple questions about your favorite driver. Anybody? Don't leave me hanging, y'all. Come on. Got like a couple minutes left to ask a couple of questions. We'll take anybody. Young or old? Anybody? You can brag about your favorite driver all you want. You can even talk smack about his rival if you want. We got no problem here. You can just come on up. You got a seat. Nobody? Just a couple of questions. Aw, come on, you guys. Roger, you want to wrap it up? All right, well, thank you guys for watching the show. Please tune in and keep watching, and we'll have all the information you need about the Nationals. Thanks. T-shirt time.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, drive the 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Let's Talk Racing is brought to you by PC Doctors, Computer Sales and Services. This doctor still makes house calls. And also Hampton Incredible Tees and Signs, both located at 1248 North King Street in Hampton, Virginia.